Thank you, Governor Barber. And this has been a great opportunity not only to hear from Steve and others, but also from Governor Barber. And to introduce our kind of unannounced guest, I want to bring up one of our newest board members of the National Immigration Forum, Eddie Aldretti, who is the Senior Vice President at International Bank of Commerce in Texas. Eddie.
Thank all of you. Some of us are here today from Washington and some of us are here from throughout the country. And we all gather today to carry a strong message forward over to the Capitol that we need and will pass immigration reform. It takes unity and strength, and we can't move forward unless we move together. And in any battle, it takes a tip of the spear to be able to carry that torch forward and to help achieve that progress. We have that tip of the spear and a true champion here to share a few words with us today. It takes skill and diplomacy to not only produce a bipartisan immigration reform bill, but to keep that coalition together and to keep building on that success. And I think we saw some of that success yesterday. And thanks to the efforts of Senator Schumer, we saw great success yesterday on the Senate, and we hope to continue seeing that success. But while he continues the fight in the Senate, it's up to the rest of us to keep the fight on back home. I came in from Texas. I see Gordon Kwan from Texas and a few other friends here from other parts of the country. And it's critical that we continue to fight on a dual process, both at home, to make sure that our own elected officials are moving forward. So please help me welcome our tip of the spear and a true immigration reform champion, Senator Chuck Schumer.
Well, thank you, Mr. Aldretti. It's great to be here. I was unannounced. I'll be quick because we got a lot to do, as you can imagine, but I wanted to be here personally to thank Bibles, Badges, and Business for doing the great work you're doing, to thank my good friend Ali Noorani, who has been so involved in this, and all of you. And look, I don't have to tell you what is motivating me to move this bill forward, because I love America. And, you know, I want America to stay number one. I don't know, for those of you who took math, it's an axiom for me, not a postulate. A postulate you can prove, you know. Axioms are just articles of faith. Belief in God is sort of an axiom in mathematical terms. It's just there. You can't prove it. It's just there. Well, when they say two parallel lines never meet, you know, that's an axiom. Okay. Anyway, whatever that's worth. An axiom for me is I want to see our country stay number one. And if I had to think of 3 or 4 things that will do that, one of them is immigration reform. And in a certain sense, it's the easiest one to do because it does not really involve a fight fundamentally over money. If you say rebuilding our infrastructure or improving our education system, you're going to have Democrats and Republicans fighting about money as well as other issues. On this one, at least we don't have a money issue because, as you know, we can pay for our entire bill with the money that's generated by the bill itself. And so I've pushed really hard to get this done, and I want to give a huge amount of credit to my fellow 7 gang members. For you, if you were to watch us in those meetings, you did get to watch us in the Judiciary Committee, where Chairman Leahy did a great job. But if you get to watch us in that, if you were to watch us in those meetings, you would see that people run the spectrum. We have some of the most liberal members of the Senate and some of the most conservative members of the Senate, but everybody reaching towards one another to try and come up with common ground. It would restore some of your faith in government. It was really some beautiful moments that I'll never forget, whatever happens with this bill. But because we worked so hard and we met in the middle, I think we really have a fine, balanced product. I said after the bill was produced that we built a sturdy ship, but now the voyage through the storm-tossed seas begins. We finished the first leg of our voyage, the Judiciary Committee, and that went very well. We showed people that we had an open process. We showed people who we know were vehemently opposed to our bill that they'd have a chance to amend it. And probably most importantly, our Gang of 8, or at least the 4 of us who were on Judiciary, stuck together. Jeff Flake and Lindsey Graham took some tough votes, and got some flack from the right. Dick Durbin and I took some tough votes and got some flack from the left. But we held together, and now we go to the floor. Yesterday's vote was a great first start, but no one should misinterpret that to mean we're home. We're not. And that's why we need you. We still have a lot of work to do. There are 5 Republicans committed to this bill. That's it. And even if every Democrat were to vote for it, we still would not be at 60. Now, I believe we'll get to 60, but as I've mentioned before, the more votes we get, the better. And that's where you come in. You have links to many on the Republican side, and I believe there are a group on the Republican side who will never vote for immigration reform. We pretty much know who they are. But then there's a whole bunch who would like to vote for the bill. And they're getting a lot of pressure from some in their constituencies to vote no. And you are our antidote to that. We really need you. Ali has the lists, your group has the lists of the people we can get. And we need you and your constituencies. If you're a pastor of a church or head of an evangelical organization, we need your church members who normally don't get involved in issues like this and normally don't call about issues like this to flood the offices with phone calls. If you're a member of a business, we need you to constantly talk to the senators of the businesses in which you have employees and get those employees to call. And if you're members of a law enforcement group, the same. But we really need to work. We still don't have 60. I think we'll get there. But the more votes we get, the better the chance is for passage. Because I don't want to pass a bill in the Senate and then not pass a bill in the House. And if we can show that close to a majority of Democrats, clearly, but close to a majority of Republicans will vote for this bill, it will help us dramatically in the House. Because if anything, the forces against immigration on the Republican side are stronger in the House than in the Senate. Now, we have a lot of forces on our side, many of which are you. Even, the conservative media is divided. Sean Hannity has come out for the bill. Wall Street Journal editorial page has done some very positive editorials for the bill. But there are a lot of people, if you read these things, as I do, who are against it. And so you're our antidote. We need you to work. Now, one final point. What kind of compromises can be made to get more votes? Well, I'm willing to listen to everything, and this is a bipartisan operation. But there are certain core principles that we can't give up. And the one that's most in play right now is the trigger. Our side of the aisle believes strongly in a pathway to citizenship. We also believe we should secure the border. But we cannot accept triggers that in a certain way, in many ways, will block the path to citizenship. We've come up with triggers that require border stuff to be put in place that will make the border more secure, but they're specific and achievable. If they are if they're too vague, if they're too flexible, we can't accept those triggers. And I bring that up because there's some talk about the Cornyn Amendment. The Cornyn Amendment was voted down in committee with Lindsey Graham and Jeff Flake voting against it. The triggers in that bill are unacceptable because they don't meet the standards. They could very well block any path to citizenship by circumstances out of the control of the confines of the bill. So we can't accept the Cornyn Amendment. We'll accept things that work. We'll accept things that strengthen border security. We'll certainly look at all the other amendments that are there, but I wanted to let people know that that particular amendment has already been voted down, and you should tell the people you're lobbying that that is not going to be the way to solve this problem. There will be others, but that is not it, and that would be very helpful if you would do that as well. So that's the bottom line. The future of our country depends on this. I believe two things. First, I believe our system is so broken. We turn people away who would create jobs, and we let people cross the border or stay in the country who take jobs away from Americans. It's backward. And second, the bill's fundamental premise is that Americans will accept common sense, balanced, fair solutions to both future legal immigration and the 11 million who are here illegally, if and only if they believe that we will stop future waves of illegal immigration. And we've done that in the bill. So it meets what America wants. Every poll shows that's the case in blue states, purple states, red states. But because of the way our politics works, there is a hard cry from many on the hard right who are saying, don't vote for this bill. Most of you come from conservative backgrounds, and you're our answer. I don't want to be too dramatic, but in certain senses, the future of this country is in your hands. So I would urge you to take that extra step. Don't just make one phone call, make 4 or 5. Keep in touch with the people you're talking to. Make sure your constituencies, the millions of people that are represented in this room, let their senators know. And if we get a good, strong, robust bill out of the Senate, we will pass the bill in the House and have it on the President's desk this year. I truly believe that. So thank you for your good work. Thank you for caring about the country. I know that just about for every one of you in this room, you may have some self-interest in this, but it's not close to your interest like mine in the good of the country. We're close. We're close. And you can help bring us over the goal line, so thanks for your good work.